was one of their hottest days. They had to caused quite a few people to not be able to make it. Plus, there was some strikes as well, I believe, in the UK. Some bus strikes, was it?
Yeah, train strikes because of the death of Queen. Not because of that. I mean, they were planned. But because of the death now, everything's also chaotic. So, yeah.
Yes, big week around the world. I guess so. As we're here, all the microphones are good.
I think I have some connection errors with my AirPod.
So I can hear you, Jon. Can you not? Shitty and I were just talking just then.
We can hear you, Jon.
Yeah,
right.
But my AirPod couldn't connect with my iPhone, so I'm speaking from a speaker.
But you're good. You're good. Loud and clear.
Okay. Nice and clear.
Right. Should we get started, Bondog? This is a special one, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, I was muted myself. Monthly Townhall. So the 14th of September, we are back for another one, and it's a big month. This week's going to be a little bit different with the way we do the town hall. We've got obviously on stage Jon, Jerry, and Shitty joining us as well, and Jason behind the STEPN main Twitter. So it's definitely a big week because it's STEPN turned 1, and we're celebrating that for STEPN Ember. We've got some big challenges, some big things, and we'll talk about a lot of that tonight. So I'll welcome up to stage Shitty, and we'll get straight into it because it's going to be a big night.
Yes, thank you, Bondog, and I want to thank everyone on this call, and even not on the call, but who are users of STEPN, playing them day and night, sending beautiful videos. It's a special month. We're turning 1, and doesn't feel like 1 year. In fact, feels like 100. So much has happened. We have together walked, jogged, and ran a total of 100 million kilometers. We've got 3 different blockchains onto our platform, Solana, Binance, ETH. We hit 1 million users daily in 6 months and touched 5 million in total. We almost rewrote the playbook of growth in Web3, becoming the #1. We took on some traditional fintech business models, and as if that was not enough, we did launch another #1 product, our own DEX Door on Solana. We had bleeding edge AI-driven anti-cheat system with Smack, and we had some cool collabs with ASICS, Line, Atletico. But you guys know all of this already. So we thought since it's our birthday, we want this to be a special one. And we want to listen to one and only Jerry and Jon. So today belongs to them, and we're going to do it a little bit differently. We will have some emotional stories from both of them in the first half, and then we will have a regular Q&A, and then we will have a mini wrap-up in the end towards as well. So I first want to get started with Jon. We know all about the facts of STEPN, such as the ones that I just counted. But today we want to know about the blood and sweat that went behind creating this phenomena. So Jon, tell us something about the behind-the-scenes stories.
Emotional story. I don't think Jerry will like it, but I think we can...
I like it.
I think we can share something that we never told before, which many of them are very cringe, I believe, or embarrassing. I think we can go back to the very start. STEPN wasn't named STEPN when we were, we were rushing everything since day 1. We've been told that there was a Solana hackathon at the time, and we are literally like 2 weeks away. And then we have to come up with the names. I think the first thing that we struggle is the name. So when we were submitting for the hackathon, we were thinking about this storyline, basically, the project called Fan Satoshi, and then we end up having the Fan Satoshi as the business name. The story goes basically is we're thinking, yes, we want to do something that everybody knows, right? We discovered that, Satoshi probably the person that everybody knows, in the cryptos. So we're trying to use Satoshi as the main sort of a character in the game. So we're trying to develop a narrative where Satoshi is like an alien, and he died on Earth, and then because there are some form of silicon-based life, and it shattered into pieces, and people then need to work to collect the shard of Satoshi, and which is the reason we later developed the games, the gem system, because the shard, the gems is sort of the same concept. We then recycle that concept, and everything is really revolved around global warming, because being Silicon Life, we did a study is that they have to live somewhere around 300 degrees, right? So, and we later find the whole narrative is super cringe, and we then didn't go with it. And luckily we didn't go with it, because then we started to focus more on the mechanics, the important things, because I think we have a lengthy, me and Jerry have this lengthy discussion, say, okay, if we have a storyline, then we have to maintain that storyline. Either, what's going to happen toward the end of the story? You will actually find Satoshi? I don't think so. And, we cannot leave it unfinished. So, all in all, we basically just cut the whole thing. But we actually keep the token names. The green Satoshi token, and then later the green Metaverse token was named when we were building the storyline. And later we discovered that in the A/B test that for people that know in the Web3 or cryptos, have no idea who Satoshi is. So luckily we didn't go with that name. And since we removed the whole storyline, find Satoshi as a project name no longer makes sense. And we have to come up with other names. And I think we try a few.
Sorry, I still very like the name. Find the Satoshi. from the name, you can tell that the app tells you to find something, right? So move out of your house, do something outside.
I come up with that name, right? So I come up with the name, and Jerry was fixed on when they would discuss about what other names we should come up with, and then I think that's the first disagreement I had with Jerry, and Jerry really liked the idea of the name called Joystep, something like that.
Oh no.
And I was
Joy Steps.
Yes, that's the name. And I hate that name. And I was thinking something like a Stride, but then Stride have the same. There's another game pretty famous called Stride, so we can't do that. And then we come with other very Australian name like Runner's Mate. That's super Australian name, but we don't think that will scale well. And there's other names around like Hashtag, Rentopia, But then we found STEPN. I think it's a great name. I think me and Jerry both actually are quite happy with the name. And so that's really went through like a whole cycle just to have the names of the product. And we have went through many cycles, I think, with all the mechanics, tokenomics, back and forth. And through the process development, we have encountered many sort of like conventional norms, I think. Because Jerry comes from more of a game developing background, so he shared a lot of things. I think one decision we had to make is should we focus on graphics, or should we just forget about graphics? And we decided to forget about graphics because we were really just trying to
not forget about graphics. Just focus more on the mechanism and gameplay.
Yes.
Tokenomic, the math behind the app, and we never give up. Making better graphics.
I mean, I think people can still find out what the initial concept of STEPN. We went through various of different versions, and we really just trying to iterate. The issue with graphic is that if we want to automatically generate stickers, it cannot be hand-drawn. So that's the main issue. So there's a lot of discussion we went through, like we design different components and put them together, and how, so we end up with the one we're having now, right? So the color patching thing, which is I think took Jerry a very long time to sort of trial and error, and that's one. That's the sometimes the compromise has to be made. And the other compromise we have to make is, should we make the shortcut? Because we really want to make something that people can, so at the time we call it like a proof of workout. I think, again, maybe a little bit cringe as well, but, people can really prove they did the workout. There are definitely many alternatives we can bypass it. For example, that we can give people a diminished return on the tokens, so that we do not need to worry about the anti-cheating. And at the time, I think GPS gave us a lot of grief. We were really having trouble, Jerry, with the accuracy. I think back in, Baron Dog can vouch for this, right? I think one of the most asked questions is, what's wrong with the accuracy of the GPS? GPS off. That haunt us for a very good 3 months, I believe. Yeah, but
it's still a very big question with the community.
Still,
oh my God. Jerry, we need to. But
it's quite accurate, I believe.
So.
On that point, Jerry, early on, Jerry, you said it took 2 years to get Strava going, didn't it? It's not something that's going to be done overnight.
Yeah. As I recall, it took me years for Strava to make it accurate. Yeah, lots of issues to be solved.
Yeah, we have to approach Strava developers, to work out what's going on. This is actually pretty hard. But I think we are glad that we didn't take the shortcut. We want to build something that people can rely on. Not to be easily fooled with, especially when it comes with token design. And also, I think in early stage, we were having really hard time with marketing. I graduated as marketing degree, but when I actually did it, I think, this is super hard in the end of the bull cycle, right? Everything becomes so expensive. I think it costs us a lot of money just to put one sort of product placement ad, and then there was like another video we paid, but we never released it because, again, it's super cringe. It's I think there was like a monkey celebrity. It's very sort of kid friendly. Interacting with the kid and do their own stuff. But we were talking to the influencer behind, say, can we do something, let the monkey to carry the phone and then to earn some tokens? And it was super difficult to push.
Then the anti-cheating system said he's a monkey. I'm sorry.
But we did trial on dogs and on ducks, and so we also they're everything super expensive, and we just can't afford it. We have to sort of do everything ourselves, right? So we have to actually that's a time that me and Jerry never used Twitter, and we have to learn how to do like a crypto Twitter 101, and reading a lot of articles, how to write a thread, engagement, impression, it's just basically learning while we pushing the whole product forward, and it wasn't easy. Getting traction in the beginning is super hard, and also I think up to until October, we were having like no interactions, zero interaction in Discord, like that in Discord, and Jerry has come out with something like very original Discord quiz, right?
Yeah. Okay, I can share a bit more about the Discord quiz. I think lots of Web3 people are on Discord, and how can we get traction from Discord is very important to us. And the Chinese Red Pocket Money reminds me, why not do something like a quiz in Discord and reward people with our NFT issues for playing the quiz. So it took me and the team, I think, 1 week to finish the quiz system. And then it took me and the team, I think, 1 week to finish the quiz system. And then we just launched it soon after. And we gained from 2,000 people to 50,000 people in 1 week with 100% organic growth. So in order to win the quiz, people need to read many times of our work. So those people are so familiar with our product and our vision, mission, lots of things. So those people became our loyal user afterwards. So I also found some projects started in their quiz game on Discord. I think it's a good way to educate user about your products. So we always learn and do something new people never done before, which is good. And we need to do everything by ourselves.
Yeah. So it's basically me and Jerry running the whole marketing department. And actually, we after we win the hackathon in October, we actually get some grant from Solana, and also they asked us to fly to Lisbon to receive the I think the first place award, and that actually was one of the few not investment but I think working capital we had. So we hired somebody claimed to be social media expert, and we have to pay her business class flight to Lisbon, and just
it was disaster.
Receive. Yeah, shit. I mean, I never flew business class, and I actually want to fly there, but we were stuck at work. But I still haven't flew business class, but I probably will sometime in the future. But we pay her like a business class, and we pay her to host an offline event at Lisbon. It was totally a disaster, and we didn't ever talk about it. It actually was. I asked her to provide a video evidence, and it was bad. It's so bad. I think we got 30 people, 20 people. That was actually the first offline running event. It was so bad, and the worst part is we didn't get any photos of the whole event, and to now I still question if there was actually an event. So that'll become mystery because and then this person just disappeared after she flew back.
I think she continued to use your credit card after the.
I have to cancel my credit card. And then the bank sent the credit card to someone else, and then I had no credit card for 2 or 3 months. I forgot, but it was super long. I have to call it back again, and I have to send a second copy of the credit card.
I have to say, best of the times and the worst of the times, isn't it? But it's so fun to listen to this. And one of the things I had the privilege of is to see you guys build this. And from my first-hand experience, I can vouch for the fact that it was never up only. There were so many difficult times, both personally and professionally. Like I remember this incident, there was this war breaking out in Europe, isn't it? And on that day, we're still a fledgling startup, and we're wondering, what do we do? And then in the meeting, you guys come and say, well, as if it's nothing, we do what we do, we build. And really, that's how I opened the newsletter as well. As the world swings between pandemic and war, we at STEPN do what we know best to do, and that is build, right? I want you guys to just recount some of these difficult times, personal, professional, to just give a window into your minds on how you overcome them, how you inspire yourself, the team, the community.
Yes, and dealing with those black swans events like war, another disaster is surgery. At the very beginning, I always ask Yon to test this one, this app, test that app. They are all running apps, So Yon has to run all the time to testing those apps. Then one day, suddenly Yon just disappeared. And 10 hours later, I finally got a very phone call from Jan with a very, very weak sound. Jan, you can share that story, right?
I think we shared that story before, but I think actually we can share about more details. Maybe people that are listening never been onto a operational theater, and that was my first time having like a major surgery. And it was pretty scary. I was basically just asking the doctor, can we not do the operation? Can we just, resolve it in different ways? But he said, you have to do it. And then they'll have to confront it. This is what life throws at you, right? So, in front of the difficulty, I was pretty scary, before, but then we said, right, screw it, I'm gonna just do it. And then they put a mask on you, and they say, inhale, and for a split of a second, you just pass out. You feel like a super sleepy in, I think, less than a second. And then the second is when you wake up. It's like a very weird feeling. Like I had several of these feelings that when I drink too much and pass out and lose part of my memory, and this almost feel the same, and then wake up, right? And then wake up and say, oh my god, it's all the tubes on my body, and then it's like so the post-surgery recovery is almost like something that drain all the energy out of you, right? You're like super weak. I think at one point that I cannot stand up. I try to stand up, and I stand up for 30 seconds, and then I just cover with sweat. It's like super weak. It's not the best experience, but I think sometimes having this type of experience make me more appreciate of having a healthy body.
Can I share your your pic after the AMA? When you were in the hospital.
I think that's one of the you can do it, of course.
And did we finish the seed round fundraising during right after you finished the surgery?
I think we finished the seed round, let's say, a couple weeks after, because I think we already, I think we did pretty well building. We did the concept, and then in a month we had MVP. Actually, we can show the MVP, and we started to have a bit of investment company, right? So I think,
in my memory, you were still laying on bed. Every day I just called you, Jan, can you just join the call with this investor, that investor,
Yeah, it was hard. Most of the investors are US based. We have to stay up, because we finished meeting around 1, and then we have to stay up until 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So that we can meet the investor. It was hard. Yeah, having enough sleep is not an option. So, but we did it. We built it, and it's go well. And but I think we put a lot of we do really want to make a sustainable app, right? So even that we have a pretty good hyped up I think community. We actually did a lot of things to cool down the hype, right? We did the double minting, the double energy, we did double everything, and it's really trying to just slow down the growth, not the growth of the user, but growth of the price of the token, because if getting too expensive, you're just getting out of control. But we had we had the hard time hit us, right? So I think at one point that when the price crashed, and Jerry also got depressed. I mean, we depressed in rotations, right? So I think I was in depression for like a week, and then Jerry got in depression from reading the community comments, and then Mabel got into depression. But it was lucky that we didn't go all into depression at the same time. But then me and Mabel trying to cheer Jerry up. But again, it's more of a vulnerable moment. We still have to deliver, we still have to build. I think if we have the feeling, it's I think it's more of a I think inside me there's a little bit of panic going on. I think what's going on? What we're gonna do? But we have to then readjust our feet. I don't. So this is a thing that we cannot disappoint the community, and especially that we cannot fail the people who trusted us. So we went through a lot of talk. Say how can we reverse this, or how can we do more things? And so I think that's right after the issues with all the NFT prices and token prices. We started make STEPN great again initially, but I think we spent a couple weeks, right, trying to redesign the GMT earnings, and then basically people know the rest, right? So we have the Rainbow Sneaker came out, we have the Rainbow Plus, so it's really to create a upward synergy with sneaker burnings, with token sinks, and restore the balance. And it is also what we wanted to do, to truly have that dual token system. So yeah, and the other thing is on top of this, right? So we're also contemplating on, looking at, I used to use the example of, biospheres, ecosystems, is that to support an enclosed ecosystem can never survive the external impact, right? So we have to create a bigger ecosystem, and that's where we trying to build a range of products to support GMT and GMT earnings. So I think it's been a year. Sometimes it feels like a couple years, but really just it's a year and 14 days. So I think go ahead.
Indeed. And what I love about both of you, not just on this call, but internally as well, is the ability to laugh at yourself, the ability to laugh at some of the most difficult times and difficult things, even when the chips are down. And today, Jerry, I want to check in with you, especially because you're a man of few words. How does it feel? How does it feel, just being two boys who started off and now having built this biggest, baddest app in Web3? What does it feel like today?
Very weird. I was initially not very, used to it when people expect Ian and I to be acting perfect in public. We are STEPN co-founders, but we're also humans, and we have our own emotions. So when people are upset with our app, I feel the worst about everyone. When people use part of our words to attack us, lots of tech to Jan and me during the hard time. It was very upsetting and unfair. I want to be very honest with that. And in Web3, everything is moving so fast, and lots of chaos when we were growing too fast, and there's no time to build up the team, and we don't have time to taste this. And so for me, I never attended any events before. I mean the crypto conference, etc. And because in my opinion, myself, I just want to build a product, build a good product. So attending those conference, doesn't help any, for building a good app. So I'm such a guy. So it's just me. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, even until now, me and Jerry haven't really attended any of the crypto conferences. I mean, before this, I attend all the crypto conferences, right? So networking, bullshitting most of the time, after parties. So, it's all about networking, right? It's all about meeting people, getting deals, share deal flow, and now, we wake up, we work, and then we go out for a walk, buy a cup of coffee, and then we do meetings, and more works, and go to bed, and repeat. So so I was almost miss the life I had before STEPN, right? I can party whenever I can. I can go to conferences whenever I can. It's a different life.
Yeah, but now we have a very professional BD team led by Mabel. So if you have any collaboration proposals, please DM Mabel, but don't DM me. I will not reply.
I love this, and we can go on forever and ever, but these 33 minutes have given us so much, an insight into the minds of probably one of the smartest men I've worked with. And this is, the trait of some of the most successful and big people in the world, people who don't take themselves seriously, but take their job very seriously. So people who are obsessed about product and community, people who are not taking self-glory very seriously. But the quote of the day, thanks to Jan, is when we cannot afford to disappoint the community and fail the people who trusted us. That's going to stay with me and hopefully with everyone on this call. I know you guys teased us about something that you're building on expanding the ecosystem, on even taking this empire to the next level, and we'll come back to that. But before that, we never shy away from hard questions, do we? So, Barndog, I want to bring you in for some grilling and some of the community questions.
Sorry, it was muted. First, I guess what the community want to know is Jorn's just told us that he used to be a party machine. He wanted to party all night. He could travel around. So I wonder whether we need to go back there and see if we can find some evidence of Jorn partying. Definitely keen to hear that. It's STEPN Ember, and the whole year, I saw STEPN in October through the Ignition Hackathon. That's where it first came on my radar, and once I spoke to Jerry and Jorn, we had a call. I got straight into the closed beta, and for me, ever since there, it's been effectively love at first sight. You can see the very basic core of the game of Move to Earn. Jerry and Jorn, you guys you've nailed it. It's changed fitnesses, it's changed lives. It kind of leads into the first talk point that I had tonight, which is the STEPN Ember challenges, and we're just on the cusp of the end of the second week. So people still have the chance to get in some 12,000 steps for the second week, but keep in mind these are really big prizes. The team's giving away 100,000 GMT combined over the month, and we're just about at the end of the second week. How did we come about with STEPN Ember? What was the thought process behind this one?
Yeah, very nicely put, Barndog. So the thought process is very simple. We want to make the planet a bit better than we found it. It's as simple as that. Health, fitness, and environmental concerns are our roots and this challenge came about just inspired from that. We were really blown away with the submissions that STEPN Run got, and we wanted to take it a bit further, and we wanted to share some of the prizes with the community. So we have 4 challenges in September. There's STEPN Before After and 12,000 Steps, which is just about to be concluded, and then there are 2 coming up, Burger Burn and Best Running Friends Forever. Thanks to the amazing submissions, we've already seen our Twitter interactions go up by 195% in the last 7 days, and they continue to go up even in the bear market. So really, really, really thankful to our community for that. Not to mention some of the loveliest stories that we've come across, right from people battling cancer to losing weight to doing little changes in their lives. And we're ever so grateful for each one of them for sharing their stories. So yeah, just 15 more days to go. Submit your entries if you haven't. And remember, the winner of the last STEPN Run only had less than, I guess, 30 or 40 followers. So it's not the number of followers, but it's what you put in your content. Good luck, everyone.
Oh, we'll get into the next one, and that's to do with the partnerships. We had a big partnership announced, and that was Atletico de Madrid and the Whalefin app. So obviously we've seen the first use case for this, but by use case I mean Web 3.0 NFTs linking up with Whalefin and doing these. There was 200 shoes initially on Ethereum. Jorn, do you want to go into that a little bit more with the partnership with the Atletico de Madrid and sort of how that came about?
Sure. So, yes, as ongoing effort with our BD teams, we did the partnership with Whalefin and Atletico Madrid, and we'll do a few down the track. But for this one, we released a collection of 1,001. So those are all hand-drawn Atletico Madrid sneaker that with a particular year and meaning behind each sneakers. So they come in common, uncommon, and rare. And so this is the first attempt for us to connect the NFT sneakers with like real world perks. I think this is as one of the ways for us to explore what is possible with NFTs. So people with the special edition Genesis sticker will have a chance to secure one of the 11 exclusive signed jerseys or a front row access to all the limited Whalefin app NFT airdrops, and then all the other bonus interest coupons. And also, the holder of this Genesis special NFT will also have a chance to get an exclusive VIP experience to watch the match live at the Metropolitano stadiums. And we basically purchased 20 common sneakers from the Atletico Madrid and Whalefin, and then we use it as a raffle. We give to users that spend the most energies in our app. So I think this is basically exploring. This is more of a new model. I think not on top of the concept book to earn. This is a new model that we want to use this to reward the energy consumption as more of a raffle ticket. We have tried this several times, right? We did with the Space ID, with the conferences tickets. So I think it's more encourage people to on the getting the real exercise, right? And then they will get reward from time to time. So this is an additional layer I think we developed through BD to create more values to all of our NFT holders, not only the Genesis sneaker holders, but all the sneaker holders. As long as they are moving, spending their energies, they will be entitled to draw our future raffles.
So it kind of ties it back, Jorn, to a long time ago we had Trailblazers, and that was rewarded people that used more energy at a higher level, and then they got a higher level of GMT when that drop happens. This is how you've kind of balanced this one, isn't it? You're rewarding the people that have used the energy along the way. From December, I think it was around 6 to 7 energy per day basis, so it wasn't a lot if you got in early, but for people that got in around March, April, they would have to have a lot higher, wouldn't they? They'd need to be around that kind of 15 to 20 energy marker.
Yes, but again, this is all sort of a chance-based, right? You get a set number of tickets. It doesn't really guarantee if not guarantee win, you have a more ticket. It's more like have a higher chance, right? So people spend less energy may also have a chance.
Yeah. Now, I have to say it, the hand-drawn artwork for the soccer shoes. So when I say soccer, I should say football, sorry, but the football shoes, hand-drawn digital NFTs, they're a bit bland on the common side, but this is something that even I've said, and I've had many people talking to me about it as well. The actual the flavor text that's how I would kind of call it, is because when they've got the city where they've won the event, where they've won the championship, it then goes you to go and have a look and research where they won the events and all of that. Great for the fans, but with the graphics, and tie back to earlier in the night, we talked about, at the start, how you went away from doing a game that requires a lot of hard-end graphics, but instead you're concentrating on the mathematics and getting the smack and everything working out. We kind of dropped the ball on the last couple of series. So Realm 3 with the 8 Realm, the sneakers were kind of basic. And then with this one too, Yawn, what are the thoughts from the team? Are you getting feedback similar from community? What are we thinking with the actual hand drawn? The uncommon and the rares, they were amazing, but the actual common sneakers, they're a bit kind of basic, weren't they?
Again, I think they were basic for that particular reason. I mean, they have to build the sort of the differences between different qualities, or so I think it is what it is. You cannot have everything, even for our first batch of the common sneaker versus, as you can see, the later stage, with Epic, with rares, it was built for a particular reason, to showcase the level of qualities of the higher quality.
Yeah, I know I'm grilling you a bit on that one. It's just, it is something, like we're in now a world of NFTs, and people are seeing these digital sneakers created in different collaborations and stuff like that. And seeing something snazzy that's, it's a Genesis sneaker. So we've seen 200 launched on Ethereum to start off with, out of the first 1,001. So this is the first partnership where another company's partnered up, and then they've raffled them off as well. Do we have any idea on the remaining sneakers?
Yeah, they will, because these are all hand drawn, so it's gonna take a while for them to finish them, and then we'll release them batch by batch.
And are we expecting to see them all on Ethereum, or there's a possibility they may mix around the remaining realms, Solana and Binance?
For those parts, we will again put out an announcement because again that is come out batch by batch. So we'll make the announcement once we have the next batch ready, and then so on and so forth. So yeah.
I know personally from if we could see like how they created, that would be an amazing little piece. But let's pivot on to the next one. We had a big article through the week. It would be about 6 to 7 days ago, I think it was, about a new office in Hong Kong. Do you want to give us a little bit more information about this? It's a big news.
Yeah, we attended the conference in the Cyberport, and also there was we had a booth there. It was pretty well received, and we also Jerry spent some time meeting with all the officials and in Hong Kong. So the Hong Kong Cyberport will be our first office outside Australia. So for people that don't know about Cyberport, it is a government-owned incubator in Hong Kong, and basically targeting on financial fintech or anything to do with innovations. So being the resident in the Cyberport will enable us to do various of partnerships, and they actually give us a very good credibilities when we talk to many of the Web2 companies, especially in Hong Kong, where there are many banks, insurance companies, which we can partner with. That give us pretty good exposure where we can offer additional benefit or perks to our users. So just give an example of Cyberport is Animoca is also based in Cyberport, and also Sandbox is also based in Cyberport. So they do have some of the good Web3 project as their resident. So yeah, also we also going to be part of that, and we'll starting to do various of BDs in Hong Kong. We'll release news down the track, basically.
So really more of an expansion, Jorn, rather than moving head office or like Adelaide's still obviously where you're living, and a lot of the team are in Adelaide. It's just more of an expansion into a different market.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong being sort of the hub in Southeast Asia and East Asia financially. A lot of big companies have their head office up there, and the whole insurance company industry is pretty big, and also banking. So it gives us exposure to talk to them and to bring their offering to our user or benefit.
Yeah, it's in line with our global strategy. Basically, we want to have our presence as well as our users, community events everywhere. So other than Hong Kong, we were also having a few successful ones in New York, for example, Electric Zoo. You must have seen lovely photos of STEPN crew there. We also have another one going on as we speak in Blockchain Week in Paris. So our team is out there. So anyone in Paris, make sure to visit the Electric STEPN booth. And Jan, you were doing an event in India as well.
Sorry, what?
In India, Unfold 22?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I did the virtual conferences in India. I did a co-panel. So yeah, I mean, India has recently been on the news for a lot, being the number 6 on the GDP rank, and also I talked to a few exchanges, and apparently that the crypto landscape is they're gonna settle some of these because there are several crypto banks in India, but apparently that is getting a bit more friendly now.
Yeah,
so,
on that topic,
big opportunities out there. Yeah,
I agree. And then on that topic, who better to speak than Bondog himself, who is on a tour there as well as some upcoming one in Europe. So let's do a bit of role reversal, Bondog. Why don't you tell us about the highlights of your trips there and in Europe?
Europe's a little bit away, so we've got Europe in October, November. Definitely India. We just had the live offline event there, and it was in a small little town just outside of Delhi Central. So it's about 30 k's out. There was over 300 people. So that's our biggest offline event. And Aman put a great event on. They only had 10 days. This was one of the reasons why we did it in a remote location, because we actually put on a 10-kilometer race, and we had the state champion from the women's in India. She ran 32 minutes for 10 kilometers. It's pretty amazing speed. The winning male hit 30 minutes, but we had over 150 registered STEPN users, and then we had over another 150 to 200 non-cryptos. So it was great to introduce it and actually do some racing in very country India. This was some of the photos and memories we're going to have from that day are amazing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the rope tug pull competitions. And then I took an Aussie rules footy, and we kicked that around the oval at the start. There was dancing, there was singing. We had dinner afterwards. It was really great, and definitely seeing the Hacker House in India as well. That was massive. That's the biggest Hacker House I've been to now. That was my third one, and there was just hundreds of developers looking to get into crypto. And it was really interesting meeting a couple of projects that, I've had a chance to kick on towards Trevor as well at BD. I think there's potentials there, and even people, seeing the Solana mobile coming out, and then the Solana watch, and all these kinds of things. That's a small little team, but Europe itself, that's a very big one for October, November. We're going to start in Dubai. We're going to do a 10-kilometer race as a team STEPN. So we'll all be running it together. We're not going for a special speeds or anything like that, but we'll be going for something around the hour, run it as a team, everyone flying a STEPN shirt, and then have a small meet afterwards. So we're looking at things like that, and then doing similar in Amsterdam next. The following week is the Amsterdam Marathon. I think it's around the 14th and 15th of October, and we're going to do a 6.5-kilometer event, same where we do it as a team, and then the following day we've got a marathon in Amsterdam, and Bryn from the team, he's actually one of our ambassadors and does a lot of the organisations. He's a bit of a legend in the team as a runner, and it's been really good for me and other people to have in spaces and learn and educate ourselves, because STEPN's based around move and earn. Like we're based around going outside and exercising, and everybody knows I've been learning in the space as much as anybody. So we're lucky to have Fire Launcher join us as well. He's doing the full marathon. Bryn's doing the full marathon. I'll be doing the half marathon, and then we travel through the rest of Europe. And we go to Germany, Switzerland, Italy. We're looking at Milan in Italy. Then at the end of November, there's Nice, which again is another marathon event. So we're getting STEPN and the bus, we're getting it to actual Web 2.0 events, and we've got several people signing on for the 20-kilometer there, and that looks to be really, really good. So Bryn's also going to help pace me for that. And we get the bus, and then we're looking potentially that we've got a little bit of flex room. So for communities out there that want to definitely get a hold of me if you can, we're setting up a German group, because we still haven't got finalised locations for Germany. We're looking at 2 to 3 locations there, so that's a big one. Switzerland's another one we're talking with on the Swiss team. We're organising Milan, but we go through Spain, and we're looking at going through Barcelona and Madrid, and it'll be interesting to tie this into the game now and actually go and see the Madrid stadium. It's football is massive through there, and to be able to go in and have a chat there, just to actually see it all. Finishing in Lisbon, and then of course we fly across to Greece and do another event there, and I'll do my first marathon. So we're making a community event along a lot of these cycles, and we're lining up with Web 2.0 actual runs through Europe, and tens of thousands of people through these ones. There's just marathons everywhere, and you do one in one city and you miss other opportunities in other cities. We've since seen, there's a German half marathon in, but because we've got Nice booked in and the date works for the way we're going towards Lisbon and finishing in Breakpoint, which is the pinnacle of Solana events for the year. It's pretty exciting. You can hear I love talking about the live events, but the time that I had in India, I got to visit temples. I got to see the spirituality and the gods and how they really do that. And we had some really special time there with the community. It was, it definitely felt like another home, and I'd love to look for more. I could definitely see why crypto is building out in India. It's so much opportunity there.
That's amazing. So great. A shout out to the community as well for supporting you in these events across the world, and we look forward to these participation. But I guess one of the biggest question on everyone's mind is on GMT earnings.
Yes. Okay. So basically, we have started working on that weeks ago, and so we are running the development of the GMT earning and then the Rainbow Sneaker concurrently. But we will take a few extra steps to make sure that the rollout will be a smooth rollout, meaning that we have spent extensive manpowers and steps on the quality checks on the GMT earnings. So we have to test a lot, the different environment, different phones, So we are on track on the development side, and also on the burning side, we are less than 3% until the 100% mark. So yeah, gonna take not so long. And for the official rollout, we will need to do various of service reboot. We'll do a various of additional update just for the preparations. So we'll try to finish preparation as I think error-free as we can, and then we will basically wait until the countdown hit 100% mark.
You found that a little bit with the building, Jerry, that actually getting the GMT earnings, because you wanted to do it over a series of 5-minute blocks, didn't you? That's been a little bit more difficult to manage across 3 different chains.
Well, sorry, was that a question to Jerry? Or
yeah, sorry, just on the GMT earning, because that's been a little bit more difficult to get set up than you initially had thought, hasn't it, Jerry? You've now got 3 chains, so 3 realms, and the initial aim was to be earning GMT in blocks of time, and that's where kind of are you finding you're happy with where it's going?
Yes, we have a solution for all chains, so there should be no difference for any chain.
Yeah, it's the same issue. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I guess with that, are we going to get another kind of space as we hit that 100%, and when we go to that GMT earning, there's still a little bit on it, isn't there? Like it's a little bit, we're not 100% from a community standpoint aware of how it's all going to work.
I think we're arriving 100% very soon.
It's that depends on several things, right? That depends on one, we are now going through a pretty strict queue quality checking procedure, meaning that only the person that did the quality check are satisfied with the level of works, then did the sign off, then we can proceed. It's more of an internal management thing. And second is that we'll again have to wait until Apple or Google approve on the update. And then we need to run several reboot and maintenance, and then we'll be finally there. So if that is done before the 100% mark, and then we can just wait until we hit 100% mark, and then we say, all right, we'll have a certain date. If it's running behind 100% mark, meaning that we have to wait until we have the green light, and then we release. So, but it wouldn't be too much of gap between these two. I would say 72 hours or a couple of days maximum.
Yeah, although I can't give an exact date when we will launch the GMT earning, but I believe we are very close to it.
Very good, very good. It's obviously on the community's mind, GMT, getting into this whole circular process, and that, you know, the rainbow, you touched on it earlier, how the rainbow plus all of that. But one more, Jorn, we've got the Ethereum merge coming up. So a lot of new users in STEPN that are not crypto savvy. Any kind of words of advice on what's happening with the Ethereum merge?
So we are less than 24 hours on the merge of the Ethereum chain to go on POS. I would say from now on until it's fully transiting to POS and give another few days, I would recommend people to avoid transaction on Ethereum chains, so that they won't cause any missing asset, they won't cause any issues. Just wait until I think I mean, maybe Twitter give the green light. I mean, there will be a lot of people talk about it in the crypto Twitter, that you know, how the progress of that POW to POS transition. And if everything runs smoothly, I would say then we can resume transacting on the Ethereum chain.
So when you say no transactions, do you recommend that people on the ape realm, that they don't use even just the door? Is that sort of?
Yeah, I mean, they can still use the spending account, but to do any interactions, let's say DEX or transfer among addresses, I would say just wait for maybe at least wait until tomorrow, right? Give I think there's another 18 hours or less than 18 hours actually until the fully POS transition happened. So just give another 18 hours so that there won't be any issues, because we don't know what's the issue going to be. So just to be on the safe side.
Nice. That was an awesome Q&A, and in fact, I want to wrap up things. And before we wrap up, it's always alpha time, isn't it? So this is alpha time. But today, we're not going to ask just the alpha on product, but just on larger way forward for STEPN, for industry. How are you guys thinking? It was an emotional one today, talking about 1 year of building. And I've seen you both from close quarters and have learned myself heaps from both of you. But today I want to ask you guys what you have learned from building STEPN in the last 1 year, and where do you think we're going forward from here?
Learnings. Sometimes we really feel it's not about us, right? Not about STEPN. It's really we are doing the right thing at the right time. I think just about that. And then we feel like a lot of burden of responsibilities. I mean, and for that reason, we want to make it work in the long term. And we basically have extensive discussion on the sustainabilities of the project, and to a point that pretty much sustainability, long-term aspect is everything we care, and we have to make hard decisions. And especially when time is harder. But we believe that with the change we made today, you will make STEPN much stronger in the coming year and in the future. So one thing we contemplate a lot is the tokenomic model, right? Actually, I gave a bit of a speech in one of the universities open class. The topic is actually, is tokenomic a panacea or a curse to all the Web3 startups? And there's two arguments really. For panacea, it's basically a cure for everything, right? So the world is not resolved by slapping into a token model. And the token model, I think, only works when we try to co-start the project and then to scale to users and use it as an incentive and use it to more of a, not as a store value, but to accrue values. But having a token is actually put us in this market cycle, the up and down, the boom and bust. And when we are set for a building for sustainability, built for long terms, subject to the market cycle going up and down is not really good to accumulate users. So that got us to thinking, should we build something without a token model? So that's something that we are thinking now, and especially now, I think going back to the learnings is the timing is very important. If we release a non-token gated project, let's say a year ago, I wouldn't think it would be successful because people wouldn't be interested. But as we are in pretty much of a bear market, having a non-token gated project maybe will be the right time. So we can discuss more on this in the next town hall. But we are seriously considering building a range of ecosystems and comprising products that do not have a token model. And then we really discovered the social values in Web3. So when I first got into crypto, right, it's all about making $1 million and it's all about ROIs. And I think my sentiment changed a lot after the last cycle. And
it was, the crypto winter, 2019, 2018. When you spend so much time just trying to survive that winter, and you spend time with your friends in the worst of the time, I think people can build like a lot of emotional support to each other. And for people that went through a lot of bear market sentiment now, I would still recommend to have emotional support. So that really come to me is Web3 or crypto. It's more like a the monkey paw. You give a wish to them. You wish for something to the monkey paw. Monkey paw is like a novel read by I forgot the name. And then you give a wish to the monkey paw, and you wish for wealth. You wish for money. The monkey paw will grant you that wish, but also will take something with, from you, something you value, right? It's like a horror story. So people cannot feel happy in Web3. People who made a lot of money can't feel happy. People who lost a lot of money definitely can't feel happy. So it's all revolve around ROI or money gains, and for people who survive through that, I think they are scarred, right? So they have to survive through all these hard times, and many didn't make it. So that got me thinking. That makes the whole social value of Web3 even more important.
Hey, Jan, don't give too much alpha.
Okay. I mean,
talk too much.
Yes.
Oh, I'm kidding.
I did all the research, and sometimes it's like boring stuff. I mean, I was reading Karl Marx. In the young age of Karl Marx, the serious alienation, coming from Hegel. Basically, the idea, right? I'm not going to bore people with the details, but the idea is that in the post-industry world, people can never become happy because people treat each other like an object, right? So, and this has been going on for hundreds of years. So that brings to the question we ask to ourselves: what Web3 bring to user? Or what Web3 bring to this world, aside of making our lives, right? So we more and more we feel social is become something that we actually can resolve. There shouldn't be that much of a suffering in this space. For everybody that's staying in this space for, I think Mabel can resonate with me, is that for people who spend years and years in Web3 or crypto, they are permanently scarred, and there has to be a lot of trauma been through. So nobody should be brag about being a crypto veterans. It's like nobody should be brag about being a war veterans. You just have too much pain and sufferings, and I think Web3 should be a place where people can build rapport, can find friends, and find somewhere they belong. I think that's one of the reasons NFT project become very popular, is that you find a niche that you feel you belong to, and that connect to people. But NFT have their own limit, right? So we try to build something that without a limit. We don't have the limit of how many NFT you can hold. There's either 3,000 or 10,000. But we're trying to build something that free from that, right? Free from communication barriers, free from all these NFT barriers. But again, we will talk about that maybe next time. So yeah, going back to the learnings, right? So I think if we learn something, is all starting STEPN, starting a Web3 or crypto projects, is all about we go into this cycle of self-questioning, self-doubting. We always subject to the market. We don't know when we did things wrong, and when we did the things wrong, sometimes too late. And when we think it's working, it's not. And yeah, so we have to make assessment to all the previous learnings, and also learn from more about Web 2 of what we can do, what we can build a better ecosystem, a better community. And we're also contemplating on what is going wrong with the NFT marketplace at the current setting or the NFT project, because that make me feel we go back to 2017 again, when the Ethereum had the smart contract. We have so many ICO going around, and now we have so many NFT projects going around. There had, the history repeat itself, right? There has to be something new emerge. We don't know what, but we're trying to find it. Yeah, and we have to do it more in a sustainable way. So I think for the whole year we built STEPN, it was only up until lately we got the time to reflect, and we got the time to think what we can do, what should we do. People say, in the bear market is the best time to build, but we have to build to the right direction, and if we can, we have to lead the new sort of initiative, if we can, and that very much I think is what me and Jerry want to do.
That is so much alpha. I'm going to try and paraphrase it. Try is the key word. Big issues that you're thinking about, not just inside but outside STEPN ecosystem with Web3. So number one, tokenomics and how it holds and undermines product usage. Number two, social value accrual and the issues with provenance, gold start, and social identity. And number three, adding utility to NFTs, which is the biggest, boldest problem that the industry faces. Lovely. Now, the only question remains, when? When is this going to happen, Jerry?
The last question for me. Very soon. Let's wait for the next town hall.
Ooh. Okay. That's our cue to cage it all in.
Right.
So we're going to wait for the next town hall. Yon, in the end, we always give the shout out to our ambassadors who are doing a fab job.
Yes, and yes, we are also sponsoring an Australia surfer, Ash Pila. He's trying to qualify for the World Surfing Tour, and we wish him the best luck.
Amazing. On that note, yes, we went 14 minutes over, but we can call it a wrap. It was an amazing time to listen to both of you share never heard before stories about STEPN, about two young boys building one of the greatest apps in Web3, about what goes on in your genius brains. So thank you for sharing all of that and much more. Any last thoughts, Yon?
Yes, so there will be a lot going on for what we have been building so far. So yes, I think we have 3 months toward the end of this year. We're trying to we'll try our best to deliver several products we will talk about. Yes.
Great. Jerry, any last thoughts?
Just want to thank Bandog, Shidi, Yon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody on the call. Bandog, anything you want to squeeze in?
Yeah, that's the most we've heard Jerry talk ever. I'm just going to highlight that, ever. I did want to do a quick shout out. Just remember, we've got Vietnam this weekend, and then we've got Singapore and Philippines over the next 2 weeks. Really, really big events. Maybe not big as in hundreds of people, but great community building aspects. Make sure you're checking your Discord and your Twitters. Keep up to date with all of that. thank you guys. And it was great to hear some new stories. Yawn going for his first run session and ending up in hospital is probably a lot of learning behind that one there.
Yeah.
And party yawn.
I haven't even tried on it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, Shitty, thank you as well to you. Sherry, Yawn. Everybody have a great month. Keep moving. Don't forget you've got a little bit of time left to get your 12,000 steps challenges in. And the next week will be out. The information will be out in the next couple of days. We'll how to do the next STEPN Chamber challenge. But have a great month, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in the
Thank
next one.
you. Bye bye.
See you.